The slope of a non-vertical line is the ratio of the vertical change, also known as the rise, to the horizontal change, the run. I'm assuming you've heard of slope as rise over run before. Okay. To actually find the slope of a line passing through 2 points, you call one of the points the first point, so x1, y1, and you call the other point x2, y2. The 1s and the 2s simply mean this is the first point and this is the second point. Subtract the y's on top, subtract the x's on the bottom. A line with positive slope rises from left to right. A line with negative slope falls from left to right. A line with a slope of 0 is horizontal. And a horizontal line happens when the slope is 0. That's when you have 0 divided by a number. For example, I have 0 cookies in my hand. Do you all agree that I have 0 cookies in my hand right here? Yes. So if I'm going to take these 0 cookies and divide them evenly among all of you, how many cookies are you all going to get? 0, because there's no cookies here. So you can do 0 divided by something. The answer to 0 divided by something is 0. A line with undefined slope is a vertical line. Undefined, so vertical, happens when it's undefined. That is a number divided by 0. You cannot divide by 0. It's like the number 1 rule in math. You can't divide by 0. Okay, those of you in the video, you can't see this right now, but I'm holding 3 markers in my hand. Does everyone agree that I have 3 markers in my hand? I'm going to take these 3 markers and divide them into 0 groups. How would I do that? I'd have to pull out my Harry Potter wand and make them disappear, but can we pull out a Harry Potter wand in math and make markers disappear? No, we can't do that. So there is no way to take something and divide it into 0 groups. It's just, your brain can't even comprehend it. The math universe can't comprehend it. It's like it opens up a black hole and devours everything. So don't divide by 0. It's very, 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 very bad. Okay, our examples. We are going to find the slope of the line passing through the given points and then decide if that line rises, falls, is horizontal, or is vertical. So in this first example, I need to subtract my y values. So I'm going to do 3 minus 3. On the bottom, I need to subtract my x values, 4 minus 0. The order that you subtract doesn't matter, except that whatever order you use on the top, you need to use the same order on the bottom. So if you do the second y value minus the first y value, you have to do the second x value minus the first x value. This will give us 0 divided by 4. What is 0 divided by 4? 0 cookies divided among 4 of you, you all get 0 cookies. And 0 slope is horizontal. Number 2, we need to subtract the y's on top. So negative 4 minus 1. We need to subtract the x's on the bottom. 1, how do I finish this? 1 what? Minus negative 5. The slope formula involves subtraction. So if you have a negative value in your point, you have to do that number minus a negative. So if you have something like negative 5, you have to subtract a negative. On the top, negative 4 minus 1 is negative 5. On the bottom, 1 minus a negative 5 6. Can we simplify the fraction negative 5/6? Nope, that is our answer. And a negative slope false. Okay, I really like number 3 because all of the numbers are different. So hopefully number 3 will clear up any confusion that you may have about slope. We have to subtract the y values on top. So 1 minus a negative 2. We have to subtract our x values on the bottom. 6 minus a negative 3. If I had decided to do that in the different order, if I want to do the first point minus the second point, I would have to do negative 2 minus 1 over negative 3 minus 6. Do you see how you have to use the same direction on both the top and the bottom? The direction that you use doesn't matter as long as you match the top and the bottom. Use the same direction both times. The first way, doing the second point minus the first point, we get 3 over 9, which simplifies to 1/3. If I had done the first point minus the second point, I would get negative 3 over negative 9, which would also simplify to positive 1/3. So whether you do second point minus first point or first point minus second point doesn't matter. What's important is that you do the same direction on both the top and the bottom. Don't do second point minus first point for the y's and then first minus second for the x's. Don't go backwards. That would be bad. All right, so this one is a positive slope, so this one rises. Okay, number 4, there's a bunch of 7s in here, so I'm going to use colors to show you what I'm actually subtracting from what. 7 minus 3 on the top. On the bottom, 7 minus 7. That gives me 4 divided by 0. Do not simplify this to 4. Do not simplify this to 0. In fact, the best thing to do would be to put a slash through it because you can't do 4 divided by 0. You need to write the word undefined. If you don't write the word undefined, you have not finished that problem. You need to make note that 4 divided by 0 cannot be done. It is undefined. An undefined slope is a vertical line. Try number 5 on your own. It should be pretty self-explanatory, I think. Okay, a skateboard ramp has a rise of 15 inches and a run of 54 inches. They actually tell you the rise and the run. You simply need to simplify that fraction. If you have a scientific calculator, 15, ABC button, 54, hit enter. If you have a scientific or a graphing calculator, you would do 15 divided by 54, change it to a fraction. It simplifies to 5/18. So this is 5/18. Now what does this mean? This means for every 5 inches that the skateboard ramp rises vertically, it also increases horizontally by 18 inches. So 5 inches over 18 inches. Slope also tells you about the steepness of the line. The line with the slope of greater absolute value is steeper. I would like you to consider for a minute the slopes positive 1/2 versus the slope of negative 6. Think about how those slopes would look on a graph. So a slope of 1/2, we would go up 1 over 2, up 1 over 2, and so on. It'd be kind of like this. A slope of negative 6, we would go down 6 over 1, down 6 over 1. It would be something kind of like that. Which one looks steeper to you? Think about skiing or skateboarding. If it would be easy to either skateboard or ski up the slope or down the slope without dying, it's not a very steep slope. -6, I feel like that'd be a black diamond and we might die. If you feel like you might die or not be able to skateboard up it because it's too steep, that means it's steep. So even though -6 is a smaller number, the absolute value of -6 is +6, and +6 is bigger than +1/2. So the base, or the slope with the greater absolute value, is steeper. So take a moment and find the slope of line 1 and find the slope of line 2 and decide which one is steeper. For any of you who might be struggling with slope at all, I made some nice pretty color-coded stuff up here. Subtract your y values, 7 minus 3, over your x values, 4 minus 2. This one has a slope of 4 divided by 2, which is 2. The next one, subtract your y values, 5 minus 2. Subtract your x values, 4 minus a -1. Don't forget that if you have a negative value in your point, you still have to subtract. So minus a negative. This would be 3 over 5. And if comparing fractions and whole numbers is difficult for you, do 3 divided by 5 in your calculator. It's 0.6. So which is bigger, 2 or 0.6? 2. So 2, line 1 with a slope of 2 is the steeper line. I don't think you'd quite die on a slope of 2, but it'd be pretty difficult to skateboard up it. It'd be much easier to skateboard up a 3/5 ramp.